Adam Schupak, he's been lugging. I want to read this right from because it's kind of cool. This from Golf Week's sort of PR company. Adam Schupak has been lugging his laptop and golf bag and following the sun to write about golf since 1997. He's worked for the PGA Tour, the World Golf Hall of Fame, and as a senior writer at Golf Week. But he has a local connection. And to tell us about his local connection, please, because he played golf, at a local college. But I want him to tell us a little bit about his background.
Perfect.
Good morning, Adam Schupak. Welcome to Tea Time with the Pronoun. Nice seeing you again. Nice talking with you again.
Good morning.
Yeah.
Good morning. It's been a while. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, good morning, Adam.
Yeah, Joe Convertino is here, my co-host. I've been telling him about you, but you wrote a recent article. Oh, and by the way, Adam is not home for Thanksgiving. He's with his in-laws out in Illinois. Are you not? You got up early today, didn't you?
I did, yeah.
Thank you, Adam. Thank you. How's your dad doing, by the way?
He's doing pretty good. He actually moved very close to me, about 7-minute drive, so getting to see him a bunch more. We haven't figured out how to get on the golf course together yet, but that's still to come. We'll do that real soon.
Well, that's what grandchildren will do, Adam. That's
sure.
Yes, sir. Okay. You wrote a recent article about the PGA Tour and the changes that are coming. Great article. I love your stuff because it's almost like whether you're 5 years old or whether you're 95 years old, you can understand what he's talking about. It's plain English, and he gives you the facts, and he teases us. He likes to tease us as well, Joe. But give us your take on the article and the changes that are coming, and this mess that we're ending up with the PGA Tour, Live Golf, and now the World Golf Tour.
Yeah, I mean, bottom line, it's going to be a lot harder to keep your card because they're reducing the number of players that will be on the PGA Tour starting in 2026. They voted on this in November, earlier this month, so that every player knows what they're playing for next season when they tee it up. They're going to have to finish in the top 100 instead of the top 125 to keep to be fully exempt on the PGA Tour and be able to kind of pick and choose what tournaments they want to play. 101 to 125 still will have some access. But, this year, Ricky Fowler was in that 101 to 125 category. So there's going to be some pretty good players that are going to be, potentially losing their card, having to go back to Q school. They cut the number of Korn Ferry Tour cards. And basically what they use as the reason for this is pace of play has gotten so slow out there, which we know that is a fact, but that it's hard to finish the rounds when they have fields of 156. So they're going to cut fields also to 144, some to 132 and 120, depending on the amount of light that they have, and hoping that they can put a better product out there where they have a cut on Friday and you know who's making the cut. That's when they even have a cut. Then there's still the signature events that are going to be smaller fields of about 70 to 75. And so, guys are going to have fewer chances to make it. They're going to have to probably play more to keep their card, which is a good thing. They'll have to show up more, and we'll see them play maybe potentially a bit more. So there's some good things there. They're also reducing the number of sometimes there won't be any Monday qualifying anymore. The 4-spotters where we sometimes get the real dreamers that it's always some fun stories when a guy makes it into a PGA Tour event for the first time, or maybe somebody who we haven't seen in a long time gets back out there, and it's a way. That's how we found Patrick Reed. That's how Jordan Spieth, was able to get some starts early in his career and turn into one of the best players in the world. So there's fewer avenues. It's going to be a bit more of a closed shop, and not everybody's happy about this. It was in my story. I talked to Lucas Glover, who said, about the pace of play. He thought they were using this as an excuse, and said, I've been out here 20 years, and when I started, there were only about 5 slow guys. Now there's about 50. All they really needed to do was make the pace of play penalty a bit stiffer. Probably, he was saying, if there were penalty strokes, guys would be running to the next tee, into their next shot.
Well, that's what they got to do then.
Of course,
yeah.
Just enforce the rules that are already existing.
Look, they're doing it with baseball.
His quote was, "They must think we're stupid." which was a great quote.
Yes, a great quote. Yes, and that's what.
Yeah. Adam,
that's
what do you think?
this.
Some of the what would you say? Some of the reasons to help speed up play would be if you had to put your hand on it.
Yeah, I mean, they've had these ticky-tack penalties of money, and it just, these guys are making now $4 or $5 million a year for a good year, and being fined $50,000 is just a slap on the wrist. It doesn't, a lot of them don't care. Some of them, you talk to the rules officials and they say, hey, nobody wants to write that check for $50,000. But at the same time, they're not really changing the way they play, and if they are slow, to be, if they're going to make $4 or $5 million, why do they care about?
Yeah, they're not changing the habit.
Yeah. So the strokes is really what they need to do, and someday the other thing is they never publicize who the slow players are. They don't want to publicly shame the players who are slow, and I think if they did that would make a huge difference.
Yes,
and
it would.
Really comes down. Yeah, the thing is, the PGA Tour is a members organization, and so the members kind of decide whether they want these things or not. And at some point, I think they may come around to the point and say, "Yeah, we need to do this." They don't have a shot clock. You mentioned Major League Baseball. That's been a huge change to the pace of baseball games, and everybody seems to love how fast the games are going now compared to the way they used to be. And it would be a lot of manpower. I mean, baseball has one little field. Golf has 18 holes, and it would take a lot of manpower to do that. But they, in a sense, have their own version of a shot clock that they're able to tell through the shot link data that they're tracking just how long it takes a player to putt, to hit their tee shot, for every shot, whether they're going for a green and two. So they're able to sit down with the guys who are slow every week and say, look, we're gonna find you because you're one of the 10% slowest guys, but this is where you're really slow. So the players actually are being told you're taking too long when on the green. You need to do better, and if you don't, we're going to fine you. And they've upped some of those fines, and so they will start to feel a bit more hurt in the pocketbook if they continue to play slow. But I do think I see both sides of this, and I think there should be some positives that come out of it for pace of play, but they didn't make it as strong a policy as they could have by enforcing some penalty strokes and making guys. I think Lucas Glover's right. If there were penalty strokes that affected how guys did in the tournament, whether they made the cut, because of penalty strokes. These guys would be playing a lot faster.
All right. Well, Lucas, hang on a second. We got a caller from Syracuse that has a question for you. Adam Schupak, a caller. Charlie from Syracuse said you have a question for our guest, Mr. Schupak.
Hello, Mr. Schupak. I want to ask you a question. Since you played at, I believe, down the road at Colgate, how many holes in one have you had?
Yeah, I've got one. I've got one to my credit. It was a pretty special day, but it's been probably about, I think it's been 30 years, and I think my wife and I were both about 30 years going. The best hole-in-one story I have is my dad. Perry mentioned my dad earlier. I witnessed my dad make a hole-in-one, and he won a car. He won a BMW Z4 at a charity event. So that was pretty cool. That was pretty cool. He didn't give it to me, which I kind of assumed in the moment, but he enjoyed driving that around for a few years.
Hey, caller, how did you know that Adam Schupak played his golf at Colgate University?
Well, I read it in the New York Times when he made his hole-in-one.
Oh, you did? Okay, listen. Has he played at any other courses? You played anywhere else, Adam?
I got one statement to make.
What?
I witnessed a 8,000-to-1 odd situation this week at Pinehurst at the Cradle, and the other thing is it's 1,000,000-to-1 that my two granddaughters, for the first time on the golf course, witnessed a hole-in-one.
Oh wow! Wow!
1,000,000-to-1 shot. The guy who made the hole-in-one is John Blaine.
John Blaine.
Okay.
Wait a minute, caller. How do you know all this about Adam Schupak? Adam, do you know who's on the line?
I don't think I do.
It's Ronnie Mack.
Yeah.
Hey, Ronnie. You said Charlie.
Great to hear from
You
you.
tricked me.
I'll tell you, one guy that could stop that slow play is Dean Beeman, the guy who wrote the book about. He would take care of it.
Well, that Cradles is one of the coolest spots in the country. I love going. I usually cover the Wyndham Championship over in Greensboro and make the drive over to Pinehurst. I love it. It's just a special place. It was great to be there for the U.S. Open this year.
Yeah, but by the way, folks, the caller was not Charlie. It was Ronnie Mack from Oak Hill, a longtime friend of Adam Schupak. Hey, guys, it looks like we're going to have to take a break here. Thank you very much for being part of Tea Time with the Pronoun. We look forward to talking to you guys again. Thank you very much. Have a great weekend.
Wonderful to talk to you.
Okay,
Bye-bye.
all right. There they go.
That was funny.
Yeah, he didn't know. He didn't know. Joe, you and I are going to have a little meeting afterward.
Have a great weekend.
Big
Go
powwow.
Qs.
Yeah, go Qs. Go Qs. You're going to be there. Folks, News Radio 570 WSYR.
The preceding was paid programming by Perry Noun. The content of this show is that of Tea Time with the Pronoun by Perry Noun and does not reflect the views or policies of this station or iHeartMedia.